Hey guys, it's time for Beauty and the Beasts. So gather in front of the TV screen, phone screen, or whatever, and join me doing skincare while telling stories about mysterious ghosts or beasts around the world. Anyways, do you guys believe in the myth of the succubus or the incubus? You know, those seductive spirits that slip into your dreams or your bed, disguised as someone you desire. Those creatures that seduce you or even touch you in bed. Interestingly, in parts of the world, people actually claim to have encountered something like them. So, sure, they go by different names depending on where you are, but the core of the story is it's almost the same. A spirit that shapeshifts into your lover or partner, tempts you, sleeps with you, and then disappears into thin air. Tonight, we are talking about those mysterious beings, so let's get started. Today's story is about a guy named Michael. Friends call him Mike. He is 27, and he's not originally from Southeast Asia, but completely in love with the region. The food, the culture, the landscapes, it's his go-to escape from the stress of everyday life. Mike travels a lot. Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, you name it, he's probably been. But one place always pulled at his heart the most. Thailand, especially the beaches. So on one particular trip, he decided to bring along his girlfriend Mia to share that piece of paradise with her. He planned everything himself, no guides, no tour buses, just a personal itinerary built with love. They stayed near Pattaya at a beachside hotel with tropical vibes and a massive window that looked out over the ocean. Picture perfect. During the day, they wandered hand in hand through markets, played in the sand, tried spicy dishes at local stalls, and Mia, she loved the food. She even liked the pad kra pao he couldn't stop raving about. Every night, they'd crawl into bed together, tired but happy, talked about their favorite moments of the day, laugh, planned the next adventure. They had a great time together. Everything was perfect. Mike even said he loved watching Mia fall asleep with a smile on her face. But what they didn't know was that their beautiful little beach vacation was about to take a dark, unforgettable turn. It was just like any other night. They had spent the afternoon playing in the ocean, had seafood for dinner, and came back full and sun-kissed. Mia went to bed early, tired but happy. Mike stayed up in the living room, scrolling through Netflix and letting the day wind down. And then it hit him, hunger, midnight munchies. So Mike thought about calling room service. But then again, where is the fun in that? He was in Thailand after all. The land of sizzling woks, smoky night markets, and late-night bowls of boat noodles for less than $1. Street food was the move. And he thought maybe Mia would want to tag along, so he walked back into the bedroom to wake her up. But there she was, fast asleep, curled under the sheets, completely out. So he hesitated for a moment, then decided to let her rest. He scribbled a note on a sticky pad and left it on the desk by the bed. "If you need me, I'm outside looking for snacks." Which seems harmless enough, right? Or so he thought. 20 minutes later, Mike returned to the hotel room, bag of grilled skewers and mango sticky rice in hand, expecting a quiet, cozy night. But the second he opened the door, something fell off. Mia wasn't in bed. She was on the sofa, hunched over, arms wrapped around herself. Her hair was a mess. Her hands were shaking. She was biting her nails, something she never did. She clutched her phone like a lifeline, eyes glued to the door. And when she saw Mike walk in, she collapsed into him, tears, sobbing. She could barely breathe. Mike dropped the food and pulled her into a hug, trying to calm her down. But that's when he noticed she was barely dressed, only wearing a thin top, no pants, no blanket, just trembling skin and fear in her eyes. His heart sank. Had someone broken in? He instantly scanned the room, but nothing was out of place. The door had been locked, he had locked it, and this was a high-end hotel too. No shared hallways, no hidden entrances. No way someone just wandered in. Still, something had clearly happened. He led Mia to the couch, wrapped her in a blanket, whispered softly, "You're okay. I'm here. Just breathe. You're safe now." And slowly, she began to talk. It started just after Mike left. She was sound asleep until a loud bang jolted her awake. Not like a dream, real, like someone had slammed the door open. Panicked, she tried to sit up, tried to move, but she couldn't. Her body was frozen, like every muscle had betrayed her. So, sleep paralysis, she thought it had to be. But then someone entered. A man. A young man, thin and strange looking. He stepped through the doorway without hesitation and just stared at her. No expression, no words. The man just watched her. And the way he moved, he was too slow, like he was underwater or in some kind of dream logic where time didn't work right. Mia was still stuck, desperate to move, to scream, but her body wouldn't respond. The man stepped closer, and he came closer until he stood right beside her bed. Still not speaking, still just staring at her. Then, without a word, he turned and walked into the shower. And that's when her voice came back. Finally, she could speak. So she called out, "Who are you? What are you doing in my room?" And the man, who stared at her like he knew her, he finally spoke. He said, "This is my room. I come here every day." Mia couldn't respond. She could barely breathe. He disappeared into the shower without a second glance. The sound of water running filled the silence, but it felt wrong, like it wasn't really water, but some distorted version of it. It was too quiet and too slow. Then he came back, dripping wet, and stepped right up to the bed, his face inches from hers. She could feel his breath on her skin. Still, she couldn't move, she couldn't speak, like something had chained her from the inside out. And then he climbed on top of her. He started touching her. And in that moment, Mia knew this wasn't just sleep paralysis anymore. It felt real, too real. She tried to fight mentally, emotionally, anything, and finally one hand moved, just barely, enough to reach out and touch him. His skin was ice cold, like she had touched a block of frozen stone. It didn't feel human. Her voice disappeared again, mouth sealed shut, no sound, no resistance. Her body betrayed her. And then, when it was over, the man didn't run. He didn't panic. He calmly stood, walked to the window, and jumped straight through it, through a closed third-floor window. Glass didn't shatter. There was no sound. He just went through it. But before he vanished, he turned to her one last time and said, "Don't worry, I'll be back." Right after he left, Mia's body suddenly unlocked. She bolted out of bed, trembling, pulled her clothes back on, and ran to the living room. She reached for her phone, but it wasn't there. It was Mike's phone on the couch. She waited, shaking, staring at the front door, reliving everything. The breath, the touch, the impossibility of everything. Was it a dream? Then why was she half naked? Why did it feel so violatingly real? When she told Mike everything, he tried to stay calm, tried to soothe her. He tried to explain. Maybe it was sleep paralysis. Maybe it was a vivid nightmare, stress, exhaustion. But Mia kept saying no. This wasn't like anything she had ever experienced before. It wasn't a dream. It actually happened. And honestly, Mike was shook too. He didn't say it out loud, but something about her fear, her body language, it got to him. So that night, he went to bed, lights on, curtains drawn. Mike wrapped his arms around Mia and held her tight, the way he always did. She was usually a calm sleeper, still, peaceful. But that night, something was different. Early the next morning, he woke up to movement. but not the usual sleepy shifting or morning stretch. No. Mia was lying on her back, legs spread wide, like something had positioned her that way. Confused, Mike gently tried to move her legs back together, but something resisted. It wasn't her, not a muscle spasm, but something else. It was like an invisible force was pulling them apart, like whatever was there last night was back. And this time, Mike could feel it too. So Mike tried to wake her. He shook her shoulder gently at first, then harder. It took at least 5, maybe 10 seconds before her eyes finally fluttered open. But the second she woke up, she screamed. She started flailing, kicking, her legs thrashing at the air like she was fighting something invisible, something only she could see. Mike grabbed her arms, trying to calm her. Mia, hey, it's me. You're okay. You're safe. She was gasping for air, like she had just been pulled out of deep water. And when she could finally speak again, she collapsed into him, sobbing harder than before. It was the same man, she whispered. The same one from last night. He had tattoos all over his arm. I saw them. I know it was him. And that was it for Mike. Mia wasn't the type to make things up. She was strong, she was grounded, never the kind of person who cried wolf or cried at all for that matter. And when she slept, she usually looked like an angel, calm, smiling, almost glowing. But this morning, she was pale, shaken, staring at the wall like she was waiting for something to crawl out of it. Something had happened. And he didn't need proof. He could see it in her face. So Mike grabbed the phone and called the front desk. They needed to get out of that room now. He considered checking out completely, finding another hotel, another beach, or another city. But Mia, wiping her tears, quietly said, "It's okay, just not this room. I don't want to sleep in this room ever again." Mike packed their things in silence, and the tension in the air was too thick to speak through. When they reached the lobby, he approached the receptionist, and he explained the situation, bracing himself for judgment. You know, the last thing he wanted was to be treated like some overdramatic tourist. But as he spoke about the strange dreams, the man with the tattoos, the window, the screaming, the fear, the woman behind the desk froze. Her smile vanished, her skin went pale, and her eyes locked onto his like she had just heard something she wasn't supposed to. Then, almost like she was breaking a rule just by speaking, she leaned in slightly and said 4 words that made Mike's heart stop. "I experienced that too." He stared at her. What do you mean?" She hesitated, clearly fighting with herself like something deep inside her was warning not to talk. But eventually she did. She told him that yes, she had seen him too, the same man, in a different place, different time, but the same presence. The way he moved, the tattoos, the feeling of being completely paralyzed, of being watched by this man, touched, violated. But she never told anyone, not even her family. She chalked it up to stress, to nightmares, to something her brain made up in the dark. But hearing Mia's story, it confirmed her worst fear. She hadn't imagined it. And now someone else had lived through the exact same thing. Another woman, another victim of something they still couldn't see and couldn't explain and couldn't stop. So in Western horror, we often hear about incubi, male spirits that creep into your dreams and seduce you, and sometimes worse. But in Thailand, there is a lesser-known spirit with a similar reputation. It's called Firak. The name literally means love ghost, but don't let the name fool you. It's not some sweet, harmless spirit. Firak is said to appear in dreams and seduce women, often disguising itself as someone familiar, a lover or a partner, sometimes even a complete stranger with eyes you can't forget. And there's another ghost too, Fiam, and this one's different. It causes sleep paralysis, usually targeting men. What's strange is that for generations, Thai men have passed down a curious belief. If you wear lipstick before bed, the ghost won't come for you. Yeah, that's right, lipstick has protection. And yeah, apparently some believe it confuses the ghost into thinking you're female. And since Fiam only targets men, you're spared. It sounds bizarre, but when you're living with something that can pin your body down at night and steal your voice, you'll try anything. And so, hearing Mia's story, and even more so, the receptionist's silent confession, it starts to make you wonder, was this really just a bad dream, a shared hallucination? Or was something ancient, something cultural, creeping across borders and oceans to find new victims? So now I ask you, what do you think happened that night? Was it all in Mia's head, a trauma response, or a nightmare that felt too real? Or was it Firak, the love ghost, making good on its twisted name? And what about the woman at the front desk? Was it just a coincidence that she'd experienced the exact same thing? Or is something darker at play? Because, yeah, seeing a ghost, that's terrifying enough, but knowing a ghost can touch you, hurt you, or even violate you, that's a whole different kind of horror. So, what would you do if you were in Mike's shoes, or Mia's? Have you ever heard stories like this? Or maybe even lived through one? So if you have any stories like this, let me know in the comments. And as always, sleep tight. But maybe keep one eye open. You never know what might slip under the covers. Bye, guys.